This is the stuff dreams are made of. I'm writer-collector Ryan Condal.
And I'm writer-collector Dave Mandel, and you're watching the original movie prop collecting podcast live episode. We're covering the big Propstore EMLA coming March 26th, 27th, 28th, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that right? That sounds right.
You hit it right on.
I've learned it. I learned it. Welcome everyone. We've got a bunch of fans in the chat crowd, which will be answering your questions, and we'll be talking all about the catalog today. How you doing, Ryan?
I'm good, Dave. We are we are approaching the imminent launch of season 3, so it's full madness.
Very exciting. Has London achieved daylight savings time yet? Have you guys made the shift yet? Still no.
No.
Okay.
No,
Soon?
It will be just before production starts. Yes, it's next weekend. So,
wow. Okay.
Yeah, we still have a week of confusing. I'm 7 hours ahead of you and 4 hours ahead of New York, but it is getting brighter. So, and we've actually had like decent sort of temperature weather-wise. So in the sort of mid to high 50s, very low 60s, which is pretty good for March. So I'll take it. It's less depressing than it was a month ago. I will also take that.
Very nice.
I mean, before we jump in tonight, there were actually a couple of things. I was chatting with Brandon Allinger on the side earlier and just saying, hey, is there anything we should mention tonight? Any new news or anything regarding the catalog? So sort of two things that are worth calling out. Number one, very exciting. They actually matched the Superman 3 tunic. So I guess the tunic itself is screen matched, and there's evidence of that. Obviously not in the printed catalog, but if you go to the live auction lot on the Propstore auction.com platform, where you should all be right now,
see it there,
along, you can see the match and the evidence of it. It's very cool. So that really, I think, amplifies that lot quite a bit, which was already pretty great when.
Yeah, not a complete shock, only because obviously those costumes were for specific scenes, and it did seem like if you worked it, you would find it, and I guess they were able to find something. So that's great. Not a shock, but wonderful. Really wonderful, yeah.
And the other thing he wanted me to call out too is that anybody that's thinking of bidding on something, the higher dollar value stuff, they know that it can get kind of stressful on the day and bullets whizzing past your head and you're trying to make decisions. He said you just wanted to remind they will work out, payment stuff and taking stuff on consignment with you. So they just wanted to remind that that stuff is flexible and they will work with you. They've certainly done that with me. I know they've done that with David. So if there is something that you want.
And Brandon wanted to also, if you're going to be flying in your private jet, make sure you leave a bid before, just in case there's a communication issue from your private jet vis-a-vis to the ground. So something also,
unless you're bidding against Dave, in which case just do what you always do, buddy. Keep it real. But yes, they've worked with David, they worked with me, and they want action. They want people bidding. So, and if there's something that you want to talk to them about in advance, this is certainly the week to do it. The preview is this week. I believe that's on the 25th in the evening, which would be Tuesday evening, right? Over at the Peterson. Dave,
Tuesday evening at the Peterson. I will be there. Please do not make eye contact with me. Yep. Do not look at me. Do not come near me. But I will be there. Looking forward to seeing everybody. I don't know. I think as a guest they have the artist of the Evil Dead book stuff. I think he'll be there talking about the Evil Dead.
Nice.
I believe that is I believe that was what I last heard. So that'll be kind of cool. I'm a fan, not necessarily bidding, but just a fan, and I think it'll be cool to hear about just the sort of the low budget nature of that way that production came together. So I'm kind of curious about that. So that would be cool. Yeah.
That's great. I didn't know that was going on. These are the things I miss out on, not being in LA. I really enjoyed seeing the summer EMLA preview this in August or August when I was in the summer, and got to that's the last time I saw my Batwing in the flesh. So Really enjoyed that. Do we have a what's new in props tonight, Dave, or should we dive in, get to business here? What are you thinking? Do you have something pressing?
I won a teeny tiny auction. There was a UK auction. We'll see if whether you have to pick this stuff up or not. But there was a UK auction, and they had 2 helmets. I think I showed it to you. They had 2 helmets from Children of Men, a movie that obviously you don't see a lot of stuff from. And I thought they were kind of cool. One was one of the police helmets, and what I thought was interesting was it kind of had the built-in radio thing. But more interestingly enough, from when they made the movie, the what's the word I'm looking for? The emblem, I guess, was CR3, which was like Charles the Third, basically. So they were kind of jumping ahead in that movie to Elizabeth dying and then Charles being king. And I just thought that was very specific, nice little detail. So it's one of the police helmets and one of the kind of riot cop helmets in the camp, not specifically Sid's, but one of those sort of blue helmet guys, with some district stuff on it and whatnot. And I'll be very honest with you, I think I threw 200 pounds on each one of them, and I managed to win because I don't think people knew it was there or paying attention to it. And my sort of feeling was $1 over that or £1 over that, I was not particularly interested, but under 200 pounds, and I think I won for like 150 and 160. I was like, I'll take it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just thought it would be fun to have, like I said, on a low end. But I was very excited just to grab a little something from that movie, and something that was specific to the movie, like made for the movie, as opposed to a suit jacket or whatnot. So I thought that was kind of cool. Yes, exactly. Yeah. So it was very fun,
evocative of the kind of design of that movie and the way that they didn't go super sci-fi with it. It was sort of this
it's very
believable dystopia
connected
sort of
to 20 years in the future. Exactly. Which was very, very cool. So that was my what's new in props. And then the other what's new in props, which is not really exactly props, but taking advantage of the LA film scene, which has just been wonderful. Last night got to go with a friend of the show, Kelvin Mao. We went over to the Academy Museum and got to see a really wonderful screening, a 4K screening of The Thing, but it was preceded by John Carpenter in conversation with the Parasite director, I'm going to butcher his name.
Bong Joon-ho.
Director Bong. Yes, it's his favorite movie. And so they're doing an exhibit on him. They're doing an exhibit on him, and he wanted this as one of his influences. And they had a really interesting conversation. And in connection to what we talked about on the show when we had the book about the summer of '82, Carpenter kind of called out the fact that E.T. was sort of the feel-good alien hit of the summer, and he referred to The Thing, the fucked alien movie of the summer. And it was very interesting to hear his perspective on sort of, forgive me, what went wrong with The Thing and why the audiences sort of didn't come to it. And I guess a little bit of, how his career might have been different, but certainly a completely sold out with people waiting in a long line for possible cancellation. So certainly all these years later, not necessarily putting money in his pocket. Very, very cool. A little sad
there are a lot of serious film people that consider
there's now a list of people. Yes.
Yeah.
Including director Bong. The one thing, sorry, excuse me. The one thing that was sort of a little sad is you got a real sense that John Carpenter would like to make another movie. Like, I mean, not specifically The Thing 2 or not specifically Escape from Earth or whatever, but the man wants to direct, and it's just very clear, he's not allowed to direct, I guess wherever that is. Frank Berman says, Frank Coppola coming to Detroit for a special forum. I did see that and was very jealous of that. And
interesting.
I thought that was very cool. That's at the Ford, right? The Ford Museum or Institute or whatever it's called. Anyway, really, really, really cool. Anyway, just a shout out on that stuff. So if you're at these LA things, I've been going to a lot of them. So say hi. Yes, the Henry Ford Museum. Should we dig into things? You have a what's new in props? Sorry, I didn't actually.
Well, I guess I should do. We're coming up to the end here, so I should probably give another clue, right?
Oh, another clue. Yes, exactly.
Okay. So I'm gonna say
you cannot eat it is my clue. You cannot eat it. That's my clue.
Yeah. Well.
Well, I guess if you ate it, you'd become one with it. So maybe you could eat it. It was sort of like a red dragon. like a
I
red
might
dragon thing. Yeah,
I might well do, Dave.
yeah.
That's the next echelon of my prop collecting career.
That's where props and whiskey kind of
Mhm.
combine as you start to eat the props and
As
become
I
one.
become my
Yeah.
final form.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dr. Lecter, you are beautiful. Go on.
A lot of good guesses. Please keep them coming in. I don't know whether we'll reveal the truth on this side of the season or maybe at the start of the next, if there is a next. But we will certainly reveal it at some point. So here's my clue. It is the 1980s. It's from the 1980s, and it's from the very early 1980s. So how
Ooh.
about that?
And you cannot eat it. So 2 clues.
Well, you could if you had to.
I guess you could eat it. You could eat it if you had to.
Dave,
So anyway, not much of a clue.
I'm not telling it on this podcast, but please remind me offline. Bart, remind me offline. As soon as we go unlive, I will tell you. There's a joke related to that I will tell you.
A story
And,
of Ryan eating a prop.
We'll get
private.
there.
Sorry, private.
Yes. Hashtag private meals.
Private meals and deals. Hit us with any questions as we're going here, or questions about any lots and whatnot. But let us dive in. I will say, what are yes, more info on the Bowcaster Flip would be great. I'm just curious. I mean, I feel like we sort of spoke about it on both the the first podcast episode, and then in our video. By the way, check out the YouTube videos. A lot of fun making those. Yep. Ryan was in town, so if you haven't checked out the YouTube videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and check them out at the Stuff Dreams Are Made Of YouTube channel.
Our production value has really risen.
Yeah, really risen. A lot of special guest stars: Rob Klein, Gus Lopez, Chuck Costas, Kelvin Mao, Brandon Allender. So a lot of excitement. I'm not sure there is a lot more to say about the forgive me, the Bowcaster. I mean, we found the clip of us basically moving right past it, as I think every other human being did. And it was a tough auction. You know, when I look back on it, I spent so much time trying to screen match and confirm the things that they said were real, of which in that case, a lot of things that they claimed were something turned out to be even sometimes better than what they claimed. There were things, you know, like the Shankara stones ended up matching the whip. The Raiders whip ended up being like one of the most important whips like from Raiders ever seen. So there were some incredible screen matches to be found, and that's what I guess I was spending my time on, certainly. So when something just came up as a replica, like I said, I paid no attention to it, but obviously someone smarter than I did instantly knew what it was. It was not a discovery. They bid on it, and clearly I looked at it. I think there were 2 bids on it. So I'm guessing somebody bid on it thinking it was a replica and then moved along when there was a second bid on it. I think they got it for like the second bid. So, I mean, again, more power to them, but just kind of wild. And, you know, you just wonder, is there paperwork somewhere on the Planet Hollywood side that would have told them what it was or anything? I'm just very curious about that. Like, you know, going deeper into the story of how it went from Bapti, because I can only assume it had to go back to Bapti when the movies were done and then acquired by Planet Hollywood. When they acquired it, did they acquire it thinking it was like not knowing it was a replica, or did they acquire it thinking it was a replica? Anyway, that's what I would love to know. So yeah.
I mean, to me, it's just one of that auction was so jam-packed full of stuff that everybody's research time was kind of limited. You had to pick your couple of lots that you were interested in and throw your energy at that. So I think there are probably other things, frankly, in that auction that slipped by that were matches or that went as replicas.
Right,
that
just
were,
things that because they're not Star Wars or maybe movies we know about or whatnot.
The nature of the consignor, exactly. Ilya from Russia is back with us, Dave. He's asking how many complete Reeve Superman costumes are around. I mean, there's a good number of them. Complete that's hard to say.
Complete, because I know people that are have everything but the boots, or everything but the belt. The belts are next to impossible to find. So it gets tough.
3 to 5.
Tough. Yeah, something like that.
Complete? Yeah. Okay. So there you go. So should we dive in? Should we do some categories, Dave?
Let us dive in, and we'll keep popping and looking at the chat for questions and whatnot. But yeah, let's dive in. I've got my thingy
Great.
open, so I can
Okay.
look at
Well,
stuff.
let's
Yeah.
start. Let's start with a classy edge, Dave. What's the thing that you wish you were sophisticated enough to buy?
I'm guessing we have the same answer to this, although I could be wrong. The lot 64, and Bart, if you want to call this up, lot 64. This is the
No, I have a
Charlie
different one.
Chaplin shoes. Oh, you have a different
Yeah.
one. Okay. I just these are amazing. I'm a comedy writer. I feel like on some level there's no comedy without Charlie Chaplin, even though I could sit here and I could argue certain other, I could argue Buster Keaton over Charlie Chaplin. But just the notion, if you were a comedy writer, a prop collector, and went, here are Charlie Chaplin's shoes, there is something to be said for this. And forgetting the price for a second, and obviously it's a healthy number. I am just clearly not sophisticated enough to buy these. What can I say? I think the world of them, but it's just not what I'm ever going to pull the trigger on. So yeah. I am a vulgarian, I guess. So yeah.
Philistine. I mean, they've got some action on them. Look, 2 bids already. We'll see whether they hit that reserve estimate. No, I went much newer film, but still very classy. I think easily one of the greatest 25 films ever made, which is the Graduate Jacket in the lot 163. Because that's just like look, and I love Chaplin and all that, and those movies are still a delight 100 years later. But this movie, there you go, and it's sold. So if you want it, you're gonna have to bid that one up. That jacket is just incredible, and that movie, it sort of transcends genre, and it's
nope,
serious.
Not arguing. It is incredible. It is just again, I think that this is just not how I guess you and I collect, and maybe we are the lesser for it. The list of, I guess I'll simply call it like suits and blazers from movies I love that I have not bid on in auction is becoming longer and longer and longer. And in this auction alone, this Graduate Jacket, I love the Sean Connery blazer from the Untouchables. Yeah, I mean, I love these things, but I'm just never gonna want a closet full of blazers. It's just it's just not gonna. It's not going to be what I have, I guess. So yeah, I feel bad.
We'd have more money.
Yeah, I guess that's true, because you'd certainly be buying these things for $8,000 to $12,000. Yeah. So yeah, no great answer there, but yeah. But anyway, go on.
All right. So what's the thing that you saw in this auction that you can't believe it exists? And I will say we're trying to focus mostly on days 2 and 3 here, and I think the 90% of the things that I'm going to call out, I know Graduate Jacket, Chaplin shoes were both day 1.
Yeah, those definitely leaned a little towards day 1. Yeah,
the sophistication and whatever. It's hard to answer that with a smaller piece. But anyway, just calling out. But anyway, what's the thing that you can't believe exists?
Lot number 834. Can you do it like that?
I called out the same thing.
Did you really?
That whole run?
Yeah.
The whole run.
This run was incredible. This is a whole bunch of stuff from the Jerry Lewis movie, The Day the Clown Died, which is his much discussed, sort of like, cried. What did I say? Died? Sorry, cried.
The movie died.
This is his movie about, this movie was never released. It's Jerry Lewis's movie about a clown working at Auschwitz whose job was to lead the children to the gas chamber and kind of keep them entertained. He made this movie thinking it would be his masterpiece, and then kind of got cold feet. Over the years, rumors of bootleg copies, certain comedians have seen it, others have not, like who claim to have seen it maybe are lying. I don't honestly know. But they have not only like camera bags and paraphernalia from it, of which we would show it to you. Oh, there we go. So there it is. Screen match costume components, 831, keep going down, camera bag, teeth and castings, and then a full costume. And there's his character, Helmut Dork. And like I said, he thought this would be his masterpiece. And this is legendary. And I'm actually curious, and I mean this unfortunately in a bad way. I feel like there has been no press about these items being in the auction. There was just a documentary on TCM. I don't feel like the people that are interested in this know that it's here. Like, I don't know how to get the word out on this, but I don't know. Dave Pisani asked who had the stuff. I have no idea. I
I can't believe it
yeah,
exists. Because he
yeah,
buried this film.
yes, correct.
This is this like great lost work that everybody has been sort of it's been a cult sort of fascinated.
Yes,
Has who amongst us has seen The Day the Clown Cried?
yeah, really insane and amazing. And just the notion of, I don't know, I'm sort of intrigued by the camera case in terms of a small item, and I have to sort of see like how much it says the clown cried. Frank Berman says you can always tag TCM. Yeah, I tagged TCM. They're having a big screening of The Empire Strikes Back, and I asked a question, which is, and George Lucas is going to be at it. And I asked the question, is it the special edition or not? And it's been about 2 weeks since I have not gotten an answer. So
nice.
tagging TCM, I'm sure that's going to work.
I mean, if they're running,
anyway, yeah.
if they're running a print, my guess is better than not. It would be the original Empire.
My if he's there, my guess is it's the special edition. That's
I mean, that's the least offensive one, at least. But
I guess, but come on, man, calling yourself a film festival. Anyway, Jerry Lewis, Helmet Dork, The Day the Clown Cried. This is just wonderful and insane. So yeah, I don't know if that's in our wheelhouse either, but still kind of amazing. And like I said, I may look at the camera case just because that seemed like you could put something in it and use it and be like, this is Jerry Lewis's camera case. So yeah. By the way, Jerry Lewis, the inventor of basically on-set replay, because he was directing himself in so many movies and wanted originally, basically you used to just shoot your movie and you'd watch it in dailies. And he created the system for originally, I guess, with like an early video camera, sort of like hooked in, or TV camera. I'm not quite sure what the mechanics of it were, but a system of having replay on set so that he could watch himself, so that he was able to analyze himself as an actor and as a director. So so it's from the Lewis Estate auction. It says from Julian's in 2018. So there you go. So this stuff was in there and it's now here. Could use a little more love and press. I don't know. So
yeah. Absolutely. Dave, what's your best restoration project?
I had two that were kind of interesting. From day one, I've been staring at the Khan makeup, which is, I guess, not exactly a restoration project, but basically because I have
best project.
Yeah, because I have the Khan costume, I was sort of trying to figure out if there was a way I could create a mannequin head to go, for lack of a better word, on top of my mannequin. I have a headless body because obviously I normally don't like heads. That's how you end up with those weird Superman heads and whatnot. But I really do like it. But it does seem like, and I don't know, that this head, from what I can tell, and maybe this is just the shrinkage of makeup effects over time, or maybe Ricardo Montalban was just tinier than I thought. But it seemed in person a little smaller, that it didn't necessarily, I couldn't just put this on top of my costume. So I don't have an answer, but there's a project there to be figured out.
Sure.
And then this is sort of a second answer too, which was, I guess from day two, lot 474, and these have come up from time to time, but these are some of the different Sulaco, I think it's alien tiles, and I always think these are really nice because you can use them to make displays for any kind of an alien piece. So for example, if I got two tiles like that and then mounted my pulse rifle sort of on top of it, or used it as the backing or something of that nature, base, exactly, it could be, I think, really, really cool. And that's something to sort of think about. There's I'm jumping to, there's a lot of Superman chat here. Superman Museum in Metropolis has a lot of Superman costume material. I don't know what they have. What I will tell you is there's a shitload of Superman costumes out there that are absolutely fake, and people don't want to hear.
It's the original faked movie prop, like even before today's era of ridiculously, world flooded with fakes being fabricated every week. Now we have vintage fakes being made. It's all,
and in particular, there was a single sort of infamous source of fake Superman costumes that kind of distributed them all over the world. And like a lot of fake sort of like a lot of problems with fakes is somebody that occasionally did actually have real ones as well. That's how he was faking them. And again, that makes it that much worse. There were real ones, and then there were also a lot of fake ones. And so this is not about the Superman Museum in Metropolis. This is not about any specific one. By the way, the one in this auction is 100% real and has now been screen matched. Just want to make that super clear.
Yeah, and it's complete. It's complete.
Yeah,
and look,
but I will
Superman
say
3
when
and
it comes to Superman
whatever, but, like,
statues, Superman costumes, I mean, I know we always say do your research, but and then some. I would not.
Yeah.
I certainly would not be buying any kind of a Superman piece without talking to somebody that really knew their Superman costumes backwards and forwards. So wherever that fits.
Yeah, and unfortunately, wherever you go, I think you have to start with the presumption that the thing is suspicious.
Yes, I hate to say that.
From
Yeah.
there.
Prove it's real.
Yeah,
prove it's real, not to. And by the way, maybe that's something to be said for at this point on all these major prop things. Right. There just the announcements don't stop, and obviously photo and screen matching, obviously the best, and a certain amount of provenance. But be wary, be convinced. Just because something is in an auction catalog I know we say this all the time, doesn't make it real.
That does not
and a good story doesn't make it real.
Nope.
And a COA that I printed on my color laser printer doesn't make it real. So anyway,
yeah.
Where to next? Sorry, what's your project? I'm sorry, what's your project?
Well, before that, I just wanted to answer before it gets lost in the chat stream. Bob McGann had asked about the Hans Gruber Die Hard walkie-talkie. He said he had trouble getting comfortable with attributing it to Hans specifically. I mean, look, those things have been around, and there have been good ones around and matched ones. I think they're great. I would presume, Propstore is best in the business at this sort of stuff. If they're saying it's Hans, they have a good reason for it. I would just ask them. I mean, that's this week.
Yeah,
question.
This is your time to say, why do you think this is what it is?
Ask them to show the receipts, and they'll have something to tell you. It might not totally answer your question, but they will tell you why they listed it that way instead of just
as opposed to walkie-talkie from Die
Hard. Yeah, right, exactly. My restoration project, Dave, is again jumping back to day one. It's not really restoration; it's just a project. How do you take all those great power loader parts and then make like a singular kind of power loader display out of it? That would be my sort of physical challenge.
I'm not sure enough of the parts are there, but you certainly could do a lot of it, by the way.
Yeah, something. I mean, that's I think you have the arm, and then I think the fascinating thing is
well, you've got the claw and the arm, so those two I think could easily go together.
Right.
And then I think the feet are their own thing and may or may not be a different scale. See, short version. So those may be a different scale. So if nothing else, you could put those first two together on your wall, I believe, in a pretty cool way. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yet I will also tell you, wait, I got to find things. This also, the Power Loader 9 and 10 are my category. I'm jumping to things I would never buy. I love it. I think it's incredible. I got this. This is just not going in my house. I don't know where this would go. And the idea of putting it into storage for 1,000,000 years till I figured it out is just not going to work for me. So as much as I do like this, and as much as I agree with you, I think it's a fun project and all of that kind of stuff. This is my lots 9 and 10. I will not be buying this. So this is my I will never buy this. What's your I will never buy this to?
I have two, actually. I have lot 558. It's the Bohemian Rhapsody Freddie Mercury touring costume from that train wreck of a movie that somehow won, I don't know, Oscars. And it's such a, like 2018 was kind of the nadir of any hope of cinema returning to existence in terms of modern movie making. And I think this film is a perfect example of that. Is like, oh, this is a biopic about a guy we all liked. Let's give it some Oscars. I just think it's a ridiculous, that film. I mean, there's that joke reel on about the editing, about the guy coming up to the table and moving the chair up to the table and somehow does it 17 times like he's in a Jean-Claude Van Damme action film, and it won for the best editing. Just ridiculous. Director replaced midstream.
I love Angry Ryan. Go on, keep going. Preach, brother, preach.
Yeah. And then my next one is lot 607. It's the Frozen Stallone from Demolition Man, which I think previously held this spot of something I would never buy. First of all, because it's horrifying, and second of all, just because I don't, even though it's frozen, I would still worry that somehow Stallone's ego exists somewhere in the construction of that thing and could impossibly infect my house, and I would be worried about that. So,
have you tried watching that movie at all of late? I don't know.
Demolition Man?
Yeah.
That was on repeat in my like high school days. It must have been on HBO a lot or something like that. So I've seen the movie a lot of times, but I have not seen it since the 90s. No, I have not seen that movie in 30 years. Have you watched it
I watched it. It is
a modern lens.
It has a very enjoyable sense of humor, kind of the last of the action, what I call the 80s action movies that kind of, had a little bit of a tongue in cheek, but never broke the movie. Do you know what I mean? Like, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I have a soft spot for it. Not buying this prop, but
no, that's not for you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not for me, but a soft spot, I guess.
Yeah.
So
well, it's already sold, so therefore
there you go. That's wonderful.
I can't be accused of running down a piece. Please don't bid any more on it, though. It's horrible. What else, Dave? Let's talk about some good things. Like, what's the best small thing price wise for you?
I picked two. One that I really, really do like, and I picked one lot, but there's a series of lots. 757, which I don't know what day that is anymore. Day 9.
That's
day
2. It'll be day 2.
Yeah. This is the Grand Budapest Hotel book.
The same one.
Oh, okay. This is hilarious.
Ding, ding, ding.
There's a whole bunch of these to the left and right. So 756, 758, 759, which are various books from Grand Budapest Hotel, some of the other books written by the author and whatnot. But I just thought this was great. And I have a couple of the books from some of the other Wes Anderson movies. There was a big article in the New York Times today. They're just opened a Wes Anderson prop exhibit in Paris that will be coming to London in the fall. So it's in Paris right now.
Yeah.
It'll be coming to London, and it tells the story of how when he was making his first movie, Bottle Rocket, the studio took all the props and I guess sold them off at the time, and that really bothered him. And so when he got to his sort of second movie, he just started taking all the props. So if you've ever wondered where so much of the Wes Anderson stuff is, he's kept it all. And so that's where it all is. And it's kind of interesting. I'd love to talk to him about prop collecting. I don't know if he collects other props, but anyway, these exhibits are out there. Obviously he doesn't have everything because he doesn't have all of these books and whatnot, but he definitely, certainly, I'm sure, took a bunch of them. So there you go.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that quite a bit. This is my favorite of his movie. I sort of run hot and cold on Wes a bit, but I think this is his masterwork. I really do. And
I love this movie. I also just watched, because Gene Hackman died, I rewatched
Tannenbaums.
Royal Tenenbaums, which I think is just incredible, and how good Gene Hackman was in it, and how angry and how much Gene Hackman hated making that movie. Apparently, is also very enjoyable wherever that fits in. So
with the direction from Mr. Anderson being, can you be more twee in this one? Just hating that.
I feel like it was later. That was later. I'm a fan. I'm a fan still. So so that was one. We shared that one. And then another con piece for me was lot 1089. I believe that's day 4, which was it's a Wrath of Khan Starfleet uniform belt. I think this one is technically unused. It's an insignia belt. I think it's unused, but still something you don't see coming up quite often. Did I tell you the story? Did we talk about this, about my COVID fever dream about the other Wrath of Khan piece? Did I tell you the story on air? Oh, so when I had COVID, Brandon Allinger had given me a sneak peek at the full catalog. And when they gave me the sneak peek, there was a second Wrath of Khan piece in the auction on day 2, or day 3, I guess in this case, which was an insignia for the costume, one of the Starfleet insignias, which actually I need. I have a Wrath of Khan Spock costume in my collection, and it's complete minus the insignia. So I need the insignia. So I saw it and I got very excited to kind of, buy it and get it. And then the auction catalog was released, and here we are. And I went to go find it, and I was talking to somebody before I went to look, and I was like, "Well, I'm going to go after the insignia." And of course, he goes, "What insignia?" And I'm like, "Well, there's a belt, and there's a belt buckle, and there's an insignia." He's like, "No, there's just a belt buckle." And then I'm like, did I imagine this? I mean, I had I had 2 bad days of COVID, and I'm like,
You
was I
manifesting.
hallucinating it? Whatever. Finally, I was like, Brandon, was there something else? And Brandon was like, that doesn't sound familiar. So now he's kind of really gaslighting me too. Like, no, Dave, that's not true. But then he found it. Apparently, it was a crew gift. They did a crew gift of the chest insignia. Okay. And they had put it in originally, not realizing it was a crew gift, figured it out it was a crew gift, and pulled it out of the auction. Anyway, that was my little Star Trek, whatever. But I think this is a wonderful piece, and very Wrath of Khan. So that's
I'm sorry your COVID brain let you down on that.
Yes, exactly. So at least I was clear eyes. But yeah. So yeah.
So I actually have a couple that I pulled up a couple of I thought real cool highlights out of days 2 and 3. So just very quickly, Lot 597. This movie was a big deal back when it came out, and then sort of, I don't know, in the mists of time has kind of been doesn't get talked about anymore. But Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, the hero sword is in this auction on day 2.
Oh wow. I went right by this. By the way, the Academy Museum is going to be showing this in May, and I was actually made a note to myself of like, oh, that's a good one to sign up for. Yeah. But that's amazing. I did not even I was paying no attention to that. Somehow.
Yeah, but yeah. Maybe it's because I'm seeing now it's 2016. Maybe it's because of the sequel. I didn't realize there was a sequel, but okay.
Sword of Destiny. Okay, so maybe
why, but it is the Sword of Destiny from the original. I mean, it's that is the sword. So I don't know.
It's a sword. We cannot argue with the sword of it all. Yes.
I guess because it was called, the movie is called Sword of Destiny. My brain went, yes, that's the Sword of Destiny, but I didn't realize that was also the name of the title. So fine, but there you go. If you love the first one, there's your sequel chance to get another sword or add another mega sword to your collection. Then I went to lot 612, which I think is very cool. We were just talking Die Hard props. This is another Die Hard prop. This is one of those bearer bonds, and we've seen these around.
Yep, this is definitely something we've talked about. I still love this. I agree.
They're awesome. Yeah, and it's what the movie, it's the MacGuffin the movie's all about and everything. And that would look so great in a frame, just hanging on your wall. And it's a conversation piece. Somebody asked, "What's that?" Oh, it's one of the bearer bonds from the end of Die Hard. I mean, that's just great. That's just great stuff. And then I went to lot 696, also day 2, Bart. That is the it's Tom Sizemore's helmet from Flight of the Intruder, which is a little kind of talked about 90s film, but this is a John Milius film. This is in his sort of post Red Dawn era, when he had been kind of maligned as the right-wing nut job that everybody seemed to be surprised he was after he made Red Dawn, and he was having a hard time getting movies made and all that. But this is really kind of realistic Vietnam movie that John Milius made. So I think the movie's terrific. I think it's worth a watch. It's very Milius in the way that it's put together and told. And I just thought this was a cool piece. And it's Sizemore's. They don't say it's screen match, but I wonder if some research could possibly, yield that if you went in a little deeper on it. And then another one from maybe Tarantino's most misunderstood film, I think also day 2. It's lot 784. It's from The Hateful Eight, which I love as a movie, and it's Daisy Domergue's Jennifer Jason Leigh's warrant that features in that film. It's kind of it's kind of a big prop from that movie, I would say.
Yes, very cool. And by the way, speaking of The Thing, a little bit of an ode to The Thing. If you think about a movie with Kurt Russell, where a lot of people are sitting around inside one location, not trusting each other. Not obviously no aliens, but certainly a little bit of an ode to that. And I believe Tarantino stuck in a little bit of the Morricone score from The Thing into The Hateful Eight because of that. That's not me saying that. I think that's him sort of like acknowledging the Kurt Russell in a tight space kind of movie thing. Anyway, movie trivia for you there. Very, very cool.
Um,
A couple of little things really quickly, just
Wait,
as
we have an ad
oh,
read, Dave. We got to do our
no, I
live
know.
ad.
Really quickly, I just want to throw
Okay.
this out, but we'll do the ad read, which is Thomas Essen points out: does Propstore have any, or any auction house have a method of posting listing updates? I don't know if there's a master listing update, like so. For example, when they do screen match it, if they are saying it, the auctioneer might announce it in the live auction.
They usually
Before such a
they
thing
will talk
on
about the
key
super match
item.
the
Yes.
day of. Yeah.
I'm sure they will. I don't know if there is sort of a, in the old days, you would go to an auction, again, pre-internet times, you'd go to the auction and they would hand you a sheet of the various, like, lot 17 has been pulled, lot 18 should say this. It would be the errata, sort of, if you will, of the corrections. This is now screen match. This is not. This is from a different movie. And I don't know if there is a master list of that. So wherever that fits in, I do think that would be a great idea of sort of a little bit of a headlines thing. I don't know if that such a thing exists or if it could exist, but a shout out to all the auction houses to do something like that. Shall we hit our live read? We don't want to lose out on our $30.
From Dave's Workshop, makers of custom prop displays and plaques. Looking to showcase your screen use props? Visit FromDavesWorkshop.com to commission custom displays tailored to your collection.
Dave Pisani, who's on the right here, he's in the live chats. You can reach out to him right now, and his team will consult with you to design the ideal display for each piece. Elevate your collection with their high-quality handcrafted displays and laser-cut plaques. Browse examples of their work at FromDavesWorkshop.com. That's FromDavesWorkshop.com, and contact them today to get started. I asked Dave the other day, has anyone from the show ordered anything yet? And the answer is no. Zero. No one has yet to take him up on this ad and try something.
Be the first.
Really,
people.
Come on, people. Be the first. Come on. This is getting fucking ridiculous. We're going to be out of business soon, and where there's going to be no show, and you're going to wonder whatever happened to the stuff dreams are made of, and it's going to be because nobody fucking wrote to Dave Pisani and ordered something from DavesWorkshop.com. That's going to be the real answer. So blame yourself. Yes.
Speaking of letting our sponsors down, Dave, what is the worst Prometheus piece in this auction?
There was only one in this auction, so I felt the need to jump to another movie that I absolutely despise and hate. So lot 545, the Bicentennial Man hand, to me is the worst Prometheus piece in this auction.
It's the Prometheus of Robin Williams movies.
It is the Prometheus of, I hate that movie. I hate seeing stuff. I feel like there's shit from that movie in every prop auction from the history of time forward. I feel like there was stuff from Bicentennial Man in the MGM auction with the ruby slippers, and I fucking can't stand that movie. It is just creepy. It is awful. I hate the way that robot looks. And so this hand just really, really does bother me. So there you go.
Also already sold. So there you go.
Oh, they're already sold, so that the person who bought it will be putting it in next year's auction. They're just buying it to put it back in an auction. So that was my Prometheus prop, of my most hated thing. How about you?
Yeah, I'm gonna go, Dave, again with lot 607, the frozen Stallone from Demolition Man.
Yep, I get that. It's the nudity, I feel like, or the semi-fake nudity. I guess he's sort of wearing something. Is that no? He was nude in the movie. They put that on there. Yeah,
I think they put that on there to sell it.
By the way, this looks like something out of The Thing if you actually were like thinking about it. But yeah.
Yeah, except The Thing is a good movie.
Yes, but I just mean the twisted, creeping, burning, like sort of flesh nudity part of it all. No, maybe?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah,
So
sure. What's the most insane Star Wars piece in this auction? I mean, I think it's one of two, but what do you think?
I mean, I feel like just because of the story and whatnot, you got to go for the bowcaster. Just the sort of in the auction that we all ignored. You have to kind of pick it for that reason. And then look, I mean, I hate to say it's also because at the end of the day, all three movies, it just I'm not sure that is true. We talk about we've been talking about, obviously we talk about the Vader helmets, we talk about Stormtrooper helmets. There's one Vader helmet that's mostly used in the 3 movies in terms of each movie has a key helmet. But even that, there are multiple helmets from each movie.
Yeah.
And the idea that this is the one from the 3 films is
it's the only
bananas.
we really racked our brains. It was the only example we could really
Yeah.
think of. I mean, even Luke's lightsaber, which goes over 1 and 2, it's a different it's a different prop from 1 to 2. They changed the prop. Solo's blaster changes in all 3 films. Vader, all the principal hero costumes change. The Stormtrooper helmet changes over the 3 films. There really isn't another example of something.
And
that
this
makes
does change, but even the
3PO change.
But I was going to say, even the changes here are changes to the original prop, which is kind of wild.
Which is wild. Yeah.
And I'm not a, I guess, what's the word, gun expert. Not that this is exactly a gun, but I am curious on whatever this crossbow was, like going back to the original, I guess, the found item, that they sort of found in the in Bapti and decided to turn into Chewbacca's sort of thing. Like I'm a little almost curious, like how is this something like in 1975 we could have found in a sporting goods store? Like, I'm just curious about the actual.
I at some point I knew this because I knew all that stuff from the replica world, and it's gone to the mists of time. But I know that the base crossbow is very hard to find.
I was going to say, unlike say a Graphics, you don't see them on eBay, I guess is where I was going with this. Yeah. So
right.
Dave Pisani basically said he got a message from someone yesterday. So hopefully someone is getting a prop.
A message can feed your family. There you go.
And you owe it to Dave, because we have been abandoned by all sponsors. This thing is staying alive. Dave Pisani is putting food on Bart's table. So this is the only thing keeping this show alive, is Dave Pisani and his incredible fromdavesworkshop.com. And you can email him at fromdavesworkshop@gmail.com. So really, come on, people, let's get together here. You could buy those alien bases, and he can make that into a base for you. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe he can't. I don't know.
Yeah. The crossover, crossover. Dave, what's the thing in this auction that if you bought it, it would piss your wife off the most, more than normal? Be pissed off at you for buying things at auction?
Well, it's a funny answer, because I think I could technically get away with the crossbow and she'd never really know, if that makes any sense. I mean, she'd sort of find out but not really know, kind of a thing. And it's not particularly large, and it's not, it's not exactly, I don't know, it's not in your face. Now, again, if it goes up to $2 or $3 million, I'm probably out anyway. So I guess if it was a record-breaking, like, multi-million-dollar sale that got a headline, that would probably piss her off. But if it stays kind of in their estimate range, I'm guessing I could buy it and nobody would ever know, basically. So I know a lot of people were like, oh, that's the obvious answer. But my answer is from again, I don't know the days anymore, lot 789, and this is a movie she loves. But I believe if I sort of said to her, honey, here is the safe door from Heat, from the Metals, the investment grade Metals safe door. It's a movie prop. I know how much you love this movie. Here you go. I don't think she would be happy. And she loves Heat. She loves this movie, like loves it, loves the movie, loves the LA of it all, whatever. She really would not be happy. This is a sort of a size, space, color, metal, whatever. Yeah, this would bother her very much. So
weighs 1 million pouns. Yeah,
exactly.
It's a good one. I think for me, I went to lot 887. So this is a thing that
Don't you have one of these?
I do, and I put it in, piss off my wife the most, but then I also put it, oh, maybe that she would secretly love it because I could have a chance to have another one. Because I've talked about this before on the podcast, but this is the first time I've actually seen one of these come up since I've had mine, since in the prop auction world, because they're very rare. They only made like 700 of these or so, because these are actually made by Weta. But this little guy has followed me around for my entire life, basically as an adult. Like I had it in my first apartment after I moved out of home, and it has moved with me to New York City and then to Los Angeles and now to London. We dress him up for holidays. He's really a part of the family, and I think it took probably Caitlin about 10 years to sort of just not accept it, because she knew he was there in the house, but to sort of embrace it. And now she's the one sort of dressing him up for the holidays. But I think if I introduce another Gollum into the mix and said, hey,
but if you did it, you have to do it, like you have to get it somehow, like at a friend's place, like on Christmas night, and then she goes to sleep and everybody goes to sleep, and then you move it in and you kind of put it like if one's like on one side of the staircase, one's on the other side of the staircase, and you don't say a word, you just sort of wait. Yeah. You just wait,
and let it pay off, or just have it show up in a place where it shouldn't be. Like,
no, that's also good. Like all of a sudden, there's one in the master bedroom.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you that story about the? Or I don't know if we ever talked about it on the Wives podcast or anything like that. Of sort of a two-part story, which is basically one day I found a great like cherry mint Star Wars arcade game, like just okay. Perfect. And we in our old house had this just insanely giant like living room, and I basically won it or bought it. I shouldn't say, it wasn't an auction. I bought it and just had it moved in and stuck it in the living room, just like kind of next to the TV, but like we had this giant television, just kind of stuck it in and didn't say anything to anyone about it. And my wife and I used to sit in that room, you know, the kids were very young. We would sort of like, you know, watch TV once everybody was asleep and whatnot. And it took her a good solid like 2 weeks before one day she realized that there was a Star Wars arcade game sitting next to the television. So that's number one. And then number two, years after that, at some point or another in a heritage auction, a giant taxidermy polar bear, which I think I've talked about the polar bear before, came up for auction.
I've seen him, yeah.
Yes, and I sort of said to her, can I get this? And she said, yeah, as long as you get rid of the arcade game. And I went, okay, and I didn't say a word. And so then we were sitting in the living room again one day, and I looked she was sort of sitting there, and she goes, where's the arcade game? And I said, you told me to get rid of it if I got the polar bear. And she just was like, oh, fuck. And then the polar bear arrived the next day. So, yeah.
Fuck yeah. Yeah. Really good. Is the polar bear still in the house?
No, the polar bear is in the storage unit. We don't have the ceiling height in the current house.
Oh, okay.
Will hopefully change one of these days. So, yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
So I love this thing. By the way, if anybody is interested, this thing was made by the Gollum was made by Weta. They're really great. It's a cool piece, and you should totally bid on it. I think it's awesome. And these things are like hen's teeth, very hard to find.
But yours isn't on that stand, right? Yours is
no. I freed it up. The great Chris Barton actually built me a really nice permanent sort of floor display, so it's easier to move him around and less sort of brandy like that. It looks like a person. What is the thing that if you bought it, your wife would secretly love it?
I had mentioned already, I think in our videos, that she would be a big fan of the Grease costumes, and that certainly stands. She loves those movies, and I think she would either of them, the Grease Lightning T-Birds jacket or the Sandy Date outfit. But in the name of picking something else, just to pick something else, I also will throw out lots 412 and 413, and those are the Three Amigos belt buckles. This is a big belt buckle auction. She would get a kick out of that.
And lost previously, right?
No, I don't think so. Although I've lost all track. I mean, maybe if those were are those back from Planet Hollywood, or I don't even know. I've lost.
Yeah, I thought you had bid on one of them before.
So maybe there was one in something and I got outbid. So yeah.
I love the Three Amigos.
Yeah,
love it.
How about you? What would you actually like?
This one could walk the line of love or hate. Mine is lot 968. This is
What is
a
Frank? What is 199? I can't look at anything while they're doing that. Just say what it is. It is not the polar bear from Roadhouse. It is just a polar bear. What it was it the bright? It's funny. I was looking at the Dwight thing as I was looking at that possibly as weirdest thing, but
yeah. No,
is she a fan of The Office?
yes, huge. Both of us huge fans, and that is just kind of creepy and delightful. At some point, we went to a Halloween party, and she was Angela, and I was Dwight, and I found like the mustard-colored power shirt with the
Oh, that's
sleeves
perfect.
and
Yep.
the right tie, and I went back when I had hair, and I sort of did the combing, and I found the glasses and all that. I was I'll find a picture. It was I was an estimable Dwight about 20 years ago while that show was airing.
Very nice, very nice. I keep waiting. I don't know if you're watching Severance, but I feel like Keir should be played by Dwight. If you're watching
I've not done the second season yet. We're about to get.
That's not a spoiler in any way, shape, or
no.
form. That's just
I
a
remember
bad
him
joke.
first.
Yes, exactly.
Also,
No, Frank. No interest in the Spectre. Anyway, go on. Sorry.
I would also go to lot 1056, also day 3. I think this would actually be just love because it's small and it is from her favorite comedy series, written by the great David Mandel.
But this is nothing. This this is nothing, right? This is
nothing.
No, this was like something. I don't even know. There's a story. I thought we talked about this once. I could be wrong. I've talked about it somewhere. Basically, at some point or another, we were thinking about a Seinfeld claymation episode. This is a real thing. We were thinking about it.
I've seen this in my brain, though. I've seen these things.
Here's what happened. So we thought about doing it, and we had a meeting with Will Vinton, who was he's sort of the stop motion guy. And he came in and they had actually mocked up a couple of the characters, and a couple of them looked okay and a couple of them didn't. And we soon discovered after our, I think, initial meeting, we discovered that at the time, the other big show at the time, Home Improvement, the Tim Allen show, had actually done a Christmas claymation episode. And the second we heard that killed it for us. Like, there was just no world. I mean, we would kill ideas if we thought another show got near just any kind of Jerry dates or whatever. There was a story we almost did once, which was about Frank Costanza taking medical marijuana. And we heard that it was a story that the Sybil writers room, the old Sybil show with Christine Baranski, was going to do or almost did, and we killed it right then and there. And then they never even did it. We never even went back to it. Just the idea that whatever. So the second we heard that Home Improvement was doing this, we killed it. Just absolutely gone. And then at some point or another, I think they did it I don't know, on Mad TV or something. They used either some of what they made or made new ones. I honestly don't really know. So there is some kind of a claymation something out there, but nothing that has to do with anyone that actually was involved in the Seinfeld show. And Will Vinton apparently was really pissed because I guess whatever the Home Improvement thing was, it was people that worked at his shop, but it wasn't him, and he didn't even know they had done it. So when we told him, we're not doing this because you guys did this, he was really sad, I think, honestly, more than anything else. So anyway, yeah. So
okay, well, I'll just buy the Dwight painting then.
Just buy the Dwight painting, yeah. Just buy the Dwight painting, yeah. Sorry.
Okay. The younger members of our family, what's the thing that your kids would love you for buying? Or kid?
I went back and forth on this, and I didn't have a great answer. There was nothing. There was no none of their favorite movies was sort of appearing. My daughter would love it if at some point or another something was to be had from Crazy Rich Asians. That's a movie she really, really does love. And my son is getting definitely very into cinema in general. And so, he got a real kick out of just when I got those patches from 2001. But even that, he's not, I don't know if he's quite the prop collector where just the idea that something came from it. So I have to say that I think they would just be really proud of their father if they got he got a bowcaster. There was no real, there was no real movie in here that they care about. That's unfortunately the sad truth. Yeah.
my oldest now goes shopping in these prop
Oh, I
catalogs,
like
which
that.
is
See, no,
once
my
so
kids,
delightful.
don't
And
even give a shit enough to look at the catalog. So yeah.
oh, she's on like, what are we getting? Can we put this in my room? All that. So the one that audibly screamed when she landed on it was lot 102,
Okay.
which is the two dad love buddy the elf card,
Okay,
the
I get
screen
that.
match.
I get that. Yep.
Just absolutely delighted by that piece, and the fact that it's screen matched and it's the one that was on screen. Was all in on that. Just loved it.
I think
They love
Elf
that
is a
movie.
hilarious movie. I think it's a great movie. I think the difference there is obviously us having seen it as adults. It's just I don't think I'll ever collect on it, but
No,
I am prepared to see, I guess, Elf movie props be evergreen for the rest of my life as
for
more
sure.
and more kids move into prop collecting, and this is the movie that speaks to them from their youth. So yeah, 1,000%. And
Yeah.
I think that's great. The shoes are great. There's some
Mhm.
elf shoes. There's a whole bunch of stuff. Every time one
There's
of
a
those
bunch of
costumes
stuff,
shows
and the
up,
engine
yeah,
is in there. Yeah,
yeah.
there's a bunch.
There's so much good elf stuff. So I am with them, and I get it. I get it. So yeah,
Um,
good on them. Yeah.
all right. So next, what's the thing that you would buy as a joke for me?
I went back and forth on this. Because there's sort of two different ways of doing the joke. So I'll start with version number 1, which is lot 1232, which is the full nuclear man costume from Superman 4, which I just feel like is just not anything you're interested in, either when it comes to Superman or movie collecting in general. This is it's not even an abomination, it's an abomination. It just this part of that movie, God bless Mark Pillow, he's a fine actor, but this is just the part of this thing that does not work. And I think this in your living room on this very mannequin, just standing there like this, would be very enjoyable in just like right behind you next to Kirk, just this guy. Or maybe pose, maybe I can talk to your people, just that sitting on your couch but wearing that outfit, but kind of like with his arm up on your couch there and just sitting in that
Like, there's no
costume.
room for other people because
Right,
of
just
my Superman
it's just
4, the
sitting
question
over
piece
your
nuclear
shoulder.
man
Yes,
costume.
just sitting over your
Good.
shoulder, I think would be really wonderful. And then going a completely different way, which is the sort of space joke, is lot 414, and this would of course be the full-size lifeboat from Titanic. Just the idea that you would have to have that in your office, a full-size lifeboat.
And just something from Titanic. Yeah.
Well,
Good.
that too, but also just a full-size lifeboat. So that's more of a
Yeah.
space and size kind of gag, if you will. I don't know where that has gone to.
Yeah.
There it is, 414,
There it is.
full-size lifeboat.
It's right
That
there.
is giant. It is huge,
Perfect.
very reasonably
Thank you.
priced. Very reasonably
Thank you.
priced, but that maybe mounted from your ceiling, so we would just see the
It's good.
bottom of the keel right like
Yeah.
here over your head. Like I think that could
Killing
be
the
very cool.
headroom
Yeah.
and this and the
Yeah.
yeah. I think I would take my Superman 4 the question piece nuclear man costume, put it in the boat, and then just push it back out to sea. I think that's what
Set
I
it
would
on
do.
fire. Viking
you.
funeral.
Viking funeral for nuclear man.
Quest for
Thank you.
4. Yep.
So Dave, for you,
Yeah.
I had a couple of things on my shopping list. The first of which was lot 742. I know how much you love the Ghostbusters, and
Oh,
I know how much you love sequels,
yep.
modern made sequels to beloved movies from our childhoods. And I know how much you love Thor. And really all of those things come together in this wonderful piece from the smash hit miracle piece of art, the 2016 remake of Ghostbusters.
Yeah, there's nothing better than a prop from a movie where someone has written the title of the movie on the prop. I mean,
It's
I
where Peter
realize,
Griffin goes,
yeah,
he said it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Perfect.
I
all the
will.
things you love.
I'll come back to Ghostbusters in a minute, but please keep going. But well done, bravo. That would, yeah, really, yeah.
My second choice is really going to piss off Becky Mandel because I had picked out for you lot 789, the safe door from
There you go. Yep.
Knowing how much you love the movie and props that take up huge amounts of room. This one for me.
If it was
all
purchased as a joke where like it showed up and it was like, Ryan got me this for my birthday, she would slightly appreciate it more than if I bought it as a look what I got, honey. If that helps, I think she would at least slightly appreciate it more in that.
I understand.
Yes,
I understand
exactly.
that.
Yeah.
And my final one, actually, this is a pretty classy piece for you, Dave. I think it would instantly class up your collection. It's lot 767. It's from this is a Shakespearean piece. It's from the hit movie, 1990s movie, Hamlet.
Oh,
Which, and it's Hamlet's own sword. So
Mel Gibson's Hamlet. That's so wonderful. Oh, that's great.
Just for you.
Because, now he not only can carry a sword, but thanks to the Trump administration, he's allowed to carry a gun again, apparently. So the next time I guess he's pulled over for drunk driving and anti-Semitism, he can perhaps shoot a policeman and maybe perhaps be found innocent. By the way, somebody on our YouTube channel commented they'd like less politics. And needless to say, because we do read all the comments, there will be more politics coming your way. So congratulations, YouTuber. Yes. Yeah, more to
really
come.
giving
More
the
to
fans
come.
what they
Yeah.
want, Dave. By
More
the
to
way,
come.
right next door there, lot 895. It's sitting right there for you, Dave.
God, do I hate that movie too?
And it's
the only way that movie Mars Attacks would be worse is if Mel Gibson had been in it. So yeah,
we could Mel Attacks. We could paint it in any scheme you want. It's a Mars Attacks unfinished Martian blaster rifle, lot 895. That's perfect for you.
Perfect.
And my final one actually was a fun one that for you, because I'd been beating you up a little bit. Lot 971. I actually did want to see this on your shelf. I thought this was a good one for you, and I'm surprised you didn't call it out anywhere. Lot 971. It is the old Chattanooga beer can from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I had missed it and then saw it accidentally, and I love that
That's
movie.
for you.
I really do. I love that movie, and I really want something from that movie, but I'm not 1,000% sure that's what I want.
Isn't that what he's drinking in the meme when he's pointing
I
at
think
the TV?
so, where he points at the TV, and that's a very valid point. I guess I don't know. I don't know what I want from that movie, but I want something. Maybe this is it. So I'll keep an eye on it. on it. Yeah.
I might buy it for you for a gift, Dave.
All right. Nice. Thank you. Already at $500. So yeah, not bad.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Any other questions? And I'm just trying to look in the chat.
Yeah.
Someone
Dave Pisani also hates Mars Attacks, so the Daves are together on that one.
But he will make a Mars Attacks display for you. A lot of people bringing up the recently announced blaster. I'll simply say stay tuned, but I'll leave it at that. There was a big Star Wars announcement this week, I guess, timed to steal. I can only assume to steal eyes and views from what's going on, but.
We'll have some stuff to say about that.
Yeah, something to say about it. Also, someone pointing out that Roger Christian authenticated it and what that means, which, of course, for those who know. But more to come on that. So as we talk with our lawyers and make sure we don't get sued. But so that was something I happened to notice in there. I don't know what else. I'm trying to see if there was anything else anyone
Flames
has.
from Once Upon a Time. I don't think that's ever come up.
He's got to have that. He's got to have that.
He keeps all that stuff. I bet he has that.
Maybe this Wes Anderson thing will make him do an exhibit. Do a tour of his own stuff, whatever. Any interest in the Back to the Future pieces? I think that I especially think that the Mr. Fusion is incredible, and yet at the end of the day, I just still don't love the second and third movie. I do think it's the best prop in the world from that movie, but I just at the end of the day don't care. I would be a hypocrite to kind of that. The first movie is sort of for me just perfection. And in some ways wish there had never been any sequels. But that's my own opinion. But if I'm going to have something, it's going to be from those original movies. The original film. Yeah.
Ghostbusters, I think.
Yeah. Well, Ghostbusters for me, neither here nor there, but we had sort of the joke of how many times can I not buy this award? Yeah. And I know we joke often about things like the various costume designs by Edith Head and whatnot. But for me, that has really become, I'm changing this into I'm sort of, how many times can I not buy this award? It kind of changed for me into how many times can this shit be in an auction catalog? And this has got to be the end of those Ghostbuster props. Because if I have to see those modern, the Ghostbuster, the Chipper. And again, they're lovely props. They're fine and good. Mark them at $1 and sold, but stop trying to put them in. I don't know what else to say. It's whoever the owner is, it's making me crazy. I'm sick of seeing those things from that recent, the Lady Ghostbusters movie. And not because it's the Lady Ghostbusters movie. I'm just sick of seeing the same props over and over and over again. And I don't know if they're selling, not selling, or whatnot. But at some point, dollar and gone. These things have got to move, and we need to be rid of them. I can't fucking take it.
David Mandela hates Lady Ghostbusters. You heard it here first.
Just ladies, and then they happen to be Ghostbusters.
Okay,
so,
I see.
Exactly. Yeah,
good qualification.
Yeah.
How many times can I now buy this? Is lot 552. Let's see if we can do it again and make it 7 in a row here. This is the Blade Runner crew jacket.
Yeah.
Another good one. Really in good condition too. I'm sure
this has the two crew
by.
jackets. Two crew jackets that I most love. There's a Blade Runner one here, and there's the Bug Stomper one.
Yep, I have a Bug Stomper one.
Oh, you have one. Okay, right. You were given one. You were
white.
Gifted one. Yes.
No. It was in a lot. No, that one I bought. It was in a lot with production materials. So I sort of got a bunch of things at once. That was worth it. And it was an auction that I wasn't doing anything else in. So we'll see what life has in store for this one.
No idea what happened to Rover the Robot from Wonder Woman starring Linda Carter. Sorry, not even sure I've ever seen that episode. And the Atlantean sheath has come up before in auctions, but it's not something you've ever really cared about, I guess.
I have one.
Oh, you have one. Oh, I thought you
I have an
one.
example.
Yeah.
I have an example of that very sheath that I believe is screen matched.
There you go. Never mind.
So I didn't discuss it, but yeah, it's very cool. I mean, the one I had is very cool. So, and this one, we actually, I did not do a comparison in person, but Propstore had asked and they knew I had it. So I actually said, you guys have it because it's in storage with them. And they were able to pull it out and I think did a side-by-side comparison. I sent what photos I had and whatever, but yeah, the thing in there is it's all right. It's legit. And it's another version of the one that I had. So it's very, very cool. I think it would be problematic probably to put a stunt in it because the stunts are so much thicker. I think you would need a hero because it's sort of made to hold the hero. So that's one thing that I would, if you have a stunt sword.
That's interesting. Although I sort of feel like if you got the sheath with a stunt sword, I would do side by side. I don't think you'd want to not see the sword.
Cover the blade, right?
Yeah, from a display purpose. Dave Wetzel asks, has Return of the Jedi speeder bike full armor minus the helmet ever come to auction? Not actual screen used. I believe there's production made pieces that have shown up.
I haven't seen anything, yeah.
But
gloves and boots and things like that.
Yes, but I mean, in terms of the armor, I believe just some production pieces have shown up, but nothing like that. Yeah. Frank Berman put in the Stanley Kubrick autograph lot 1082. That was my weirdest thing in the auction. It was
my weirdest
postcard, Kubrick's merit badge. That was yours too.
Merit
as well.
badge application. Yeah, it's so weird.
By the way, right now in the other room, my son is finishing up. My son and my wife are watching The Shining. He's watching it for the first time.
Oh,
so speaking of Kubrick, that's going on in the other room. I was watching it before this started, and they continued on. So, Frank, this is very, very cool, but also just kind of insane. And by the way, if you're getting a Kubrick piece, that's exactly what you want. I want insanity. I want grocery lists. I want merit badge applications. I want him asking back for the $3 somebody owes him. That's what I want in my Stanley Kubrick stuff. I want insanity. So
dear David, you owe me $3, Stanley.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Getting Gonzo Muppet or any Batman pieces. I do think the Batman Returns costume is incredible. I'm not going after it. The Gonzo Muppet I also think is really cool. Although as Ryan saw recently, I found my bootleg Mexican Muppet puppets that I have from a few years ago, which maybe we'll add into the social media so you guys can see it. I don't know how to show it to you otherwise right now, so I apologize. But wait till you see my weird Mexican Gonzo. That's pretty incredible. I'm not going after the Gonzo. I love that it exists. It's not the movie for me. I don't know, but it is wonderful and it is cool. I have nothing from Batteries Not Included. I think I used to have a Macquarie sketch from it, but I don't have that anymore. So no, a movie that I think I was a little too old for. So it's kind of one of those ones that I know means a lot to people, but it was one I sort of missed out on. Perhaps I will watch it at some point, but I'm not even sure I've ever seen the whole thing all the way through, oddly enough. So wherever that fits in.
Oh, I saw. Yeah, I saw that in the theater as a kid.
You're a little younger. You're a little younger. Yeah. What did we leave out or anything? Things we used to own. Any other thing you used to own in this?
Yeah. I'd like to put in a plug for it. I left it out of the day one episode because I was going to do it here. But lot 148, the Indy 3
clapper,
is mine. Yes.
I should have just bought this from you. I'm a fucking idiot. I should have just bought this from you.
Sorry.
No, it's my own fault. I just pay attention.
I didn't think you wanted it because the reason this is
okay. Go on.
The reason this is in the auction is because a couple of years ago there was another Indy 3 clapper offered to you. This is one of the sort of smaller lens size ones. I have one of the full mamma jammas, which you can see if I turn this way. It's right behind there. It's behind my whip.
It's right behind the Nuclear Man costume. If you just look carefully.
Yeah, that's right. You just have to slide it aside. I'll put him on my chair.
What if the Nuclear Man was holding the Indy 3 clapper like this? We do the arms like Gino does the arms like this, and he's kind of like action. Yeah,
that's good. And people would say, "Oh, was he in Indiana Jones 3?" And you're like, "No, that's from Superman 4: A Quest for Peace." And you just make them feel like they're the asshole. And a large format one came along. It was offered to Dave. He ummed and awed on it, and then said to me, "Hey, is this something you would want?" And I loved it because this is the indie film that I sort of grew up with. And I said, if you don't want it, I will just buy it, and then I'll have two, and at some point I can decide which one I want to keep. So, as you know, it was an expensive year last year, so it came time to offer some things up. So I sort of did which one do I need? I put this one in auction specifically because I liked having the larger format one. I think this is the best. Mine is photo match. I think this is the better photo match because it matches to this great photo with Spielberg.
Sure, but they're both wonderful. I mean, wherever that fits in, but I do think they're both great. I will say from my, it was when the original one came up, the one that you got, I was sort of, I will say, I knew how much that movie meant to you. And I will say, of the 3 Indiana Jones movies that they made, because they only made 3, it's probably technically the one, and I enjoy all 3 of them, but I do lean more towards the first 2. Sure. And so when the clapper came up, I don't know, the Indy 3 of it all, it just didn't feel like something I needed. I have a Raiders clapper, and I was quite happy about it. Somehow, when I added the shirt to my display collection last year, and then all of a sudden I had the hat, shirt, jacket, and whip, and we photo matched my whip to being sort of I guess for lack of a better word, the key whip from Last Crusade. At that moment, I certainly didn't regret letting go of, or not letting go of, but like passing on that one that I passed on. But I think that is what sparked the, should I get this and put it in the display case with those pieces? And so it kind of occurred to me after the fact, but that's what changed for me. And I do think those things do happen. By the way, this is neither here nor there, but 185 is the Club Obi-Wan menu that you don't really see ever, but I guess they made them. They're in the scene somewhere. Maybe they show up in pictures. This one is obviously signed by Ford, cool. Spielberg. Yeah, the signing is really, really cool. Years and years ago, I got one of these things, and when I acquired it, I was never quite sure if it was not that it wasn't real, but I always wondered like what it was, and then did the research and kind of found out it was what it was, and that, it's anyway. And I always kind of dug it. And so I don't know, I got a kick out of seeing this, and it made me kind of go, oh, maybe if Harrison Ford does another signing, I should get mine signed by William Shatner right across the bottom. So yeah. Oh, Dave Pisoni has one of the chicken skewers from the scene. I remember when those came up for auction. That's it. I always thought that was an excellent
that's neat.
Prop. Was it the one that was thrown, or that must be a specific stunt one? But that's very cool.
I guess so.
Chekhov's brain device in Star Trek: The Voyage Home. I got one of the guys that made Propstore to make an exact record with me, and it's awesome. That's excellent. Outsider 238. Excellent. That's wonderful. Yeah.
And Ilya cool. Loves the dot matrix mask in Day One, as do I. Love my Spaceballs props. Love all
fun to
things.
See, very fun to see. And Marvel, number one Marvel fan, has 28 Marvel clappers, which is wonderful. So it's the one on fire, Dave Pisani says. That's very, very cool.
Oh, nice.
In terms of stuff that I used to own, something that I did not put in is lot 624, but I think this came from me. I could be wrong. I had one like this at some point. This is from a movie that I sadly co-wrote. It's this is the leaning Cat in the Hat, tilting hat that kind of like when he sort of, I don't know, not sad exactly, but it kind of goes like kind of tilts. And I believe it's because at some point I think I owned 3 or 4 of these hats, and this looks, the bottom of it looks like this was mine, the one I had, and I don't have any memory of who I sold it to. If I put it in an auction, I mean, it's so many years ago that it left me, but it did kind of remind me of it. I think this was
buy
mine.
this for you as a joke because I got tired of making Cat in the Hat jokes, but that would have
No,
been really
keep making them, keep making them.
buying it back. And
Yeah,
you thought you got it out of the house, and now it's
yes, it's back. So I did.
Boomerang
I believe this was mine, although I am not responsible for this being in the auction. The big piece that I did put in the auction is lot 350 on day one, which is the most Espa Cantina mask from the original Star Wars. It's got a couple of bids, couple of pieces.
Oh, good.
I think I may have mentioned, I actually found, I got to get this to them before the auction so they update the listing. I actually found the Stuart Freeborn signed original letter. This came directly from Stuart Freeborn back in the day when Propstore kind of helped him disperse with his archives. And obviously this is in the cantina, and at some point or another, I think in the comic books, they used Mos Espa as the design for Jabba. And so this is the most I keep saying Mos Espa, Mosep. I'm adding an A, which is Mosep Cantina alien mask. Click on that, Bart. I want to see that bigger if you don't mind. So that's from my collection, and it's in there. And I let it go because I have a Cantina band member, and I just realized that was a little bit more of a little, dare I say, more iconic. But I thought this thing was great, and I'm not going to lie, I already kind of miss it. So anyway, wherever that fits in,
it's pretty cool. But
yeah, I already kind of miss it. Somebody asked. Dave is selling the Joe Johnson Star Wars Empire drawings. Mike, the honest answer is I put in a couple of my doubles that I just kind of was trying to thin out. So what you're seeing, so for example, Bart, if you don't mind going to Joe Johnston, I'll give an example. If you can go to Joe Johnston as a search, I put in a couple of storyboard drawings, and literally, and I kid you not, like for example, I put in one of the AT-AT attack from Empire, one of the storyboards, and I have literally keep going down. So like, for example, that's mine. Go back up. Yep. Hold on, go back up. So 348 is a Joe Johnston with I think this is an incredible piece. You've got the Millennium Falcon, the X-Wings, whatever, the Y-Wings. I happen to simply have a similar, right from the same number area, an incredibly similar shot that's a little bit different. And so I let one of those go, and I did the same with 1 or 2 other Joe Johnston drawings, and that's why I did let them go. As I was attempting in advance, I did know about the Bowcaster, and I was sort of making a run of selling.
Is the most before the Bowcaster? So
it is. So I will have a little bit of a sense of that. So yeah,
great.
Exactly. Yeah.
Great.
So Stanley, I have no idea what Gus is bidding on. We made a joke in our little video, but I do not know. I'm sure he and I will talk before things get there. But anyway, Mike, that was the reason. Anything else before we?
Well, as we bring it on home? I mean, what should I be buying before I tell you what you should be buying?
Well, I'm sort of assuming, or hopefully assuming, that you're going to make a run at the Ghostbusters trap, which is something you've certainly talked a lot about in the past. Not specifically this one. I just mean Ghostbusters in general as something you've always wanted something from. As I said to you in our video, but also I have one in my collection. I am the first to say this one with the remote control and whatnot is probably the best version out there. It's just really cool. If you don't get it, do I think there will be others? Of course, I think something will come around. But I did think this was really special. This is a really special one. I love that it has the pedal. Mine doesn't have the pedal, but at the end of the day, it's the full electronics, the usage in Ghostbusters 1 and Ghostbusters 2. His signature, Boudreaux is pointing out that his signature is different now. And I was lucky enough to get to know Joe a little bit. And when I had him sign the pieces for me, I kind of forced him to do his old signature for me. I thought I liked the old signature. Not that there's anything wrong with the new signature. So when he signed a bunch of my stuff for me, which was some of it was after the fact, because obviously they were not signing storyboards back in the day. He was kind enough to do the old signature for me. So there you go, Boudreaux. That is why. And it was, like I said, it was important to me. So that's the what and the why. I do love his new signature. And on a piece that I got him to do where I had the plaque made for the painting that I have, he did his current signature. And I think it looks great because it's more of an autograph thing as opposed to signing the art, which is he didn't do.
Yeah.
But for signing the art, I went for the old thing. And again, some people can do it because he's an artist. I think he's able to control his signature in a way that perhaps you or I cannot. So wherever that fits in. So wherever that works. So anyway, Ghostbusters, I think, Ryan, for you, it's really, really incredible. I just think I don't know. I do think it's special. I know, obviously, you've already had a very big prop year, and that is something to consider. And I'm not sure you can eat this piece. I mean, this is a tough one. This would be a very tough one to.
I'm willing to take the physical challenge on it. I mean, that's
I think the foot pad and the cord you could eat, but the actual,
I think you have to go at that first and go kind of small to big.
Yeah. I do think it's doable. I'll tell you something for myself. I keep staring at that Tron costume, or one of the helmets, and it is, by the way, it could also be a bit of a project because it would require finding some pieces, and I do have to have a Rob Klein conversation if he's got any extra pieces, because I really would want to have the gloves and the belt and whatnot, and it's all possibly gettable, but I do really like it. I mean, look, for me, I'm staring at the two big Star Wars pieces, obviously, but I am leaning more towards, I shouldn't say more towards, I'm going to make a run at the blast, at the Chewbacca blaster.
Yeah. I mean,
the metal is great. Don't get me wrong. But I think of the two, the opportunity to put the blaster with both my Star Wars actual Chewbacca mask. So the two things together, and also my Han Solo action gun from Return of the Jedi, which is actually real. More to come. I just think it would be pretty incredible, and also I love it. I really do love it. So that's where I am.
Yeah. I mean, that was my sort of, I know it's come in at a crazy opening price, and you're doing the whole, like, how much do I want to, I think this is just one of those things you have to just do it and then figure it out afterwards. Obviously I don't think it's going to go for $1 million. I agree that you shouldn't spend $1 million on it, but I think, I just think you have to have it because it's just, since I've known you, Chewbacca has been such a fixture in your life. And I just think those two things, they're similar size too. So I think just like in a case together, they'll look great and so evocative of the character. I don't know how you let that one go.
I mean, look, look, it'll be very easy to let it go when it passes the $1 million mark. If it does, obviously we don't know anything. That will make it easy. If I never got it, sure, I would live a fine and okay life. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, let's be honest about certain things. It's hard to be sitting there going, I can't believe I missed out on the gun. The bowcaster. All I have is the mask. You know what I mean? Like, it's a lovely position to be in, but obviously it would be really fantastic. But it's getting hard. I mean, again, I know we're back in yacht land here. These incredible, pieces just keep showing up, and the metal is incredible. If the bowcaster
in a normal auction where that's
if the bowcaster were not in this auction, I'd be going crazy talking about the metal. And by the way, that doesn't mean I won't throw a bid. I mean, I'm not sure I can chase it far, but I mean, it doesn't mean I won't throw a bid. I just have to sort of figure out, sort of see. I've got a bunch, I mean, I'm not boring people to death here. I've got a lot of smaller end and middle item pieces in this auction. Like, this is just stuff in this auction, nothing worth necessarily calling out, but cool stuff, I have in there. I think that's neat, whatever. But So, if all of that does okay, at least it kind of takes the edge off, and a payment plan, which Propstore is good at. By the way, I think, again, if you're thinking about that, whatever, is there an original trilogy Chewbacca, Bandolier, and Private Hands? Not that I know of. Doesn't mean there isn't, Thomas,
I've never seen one,
but
no.
nothing that I've ever heard of. Yeah, nothing that I've ever heard of.
Somebody might be making one right now, making an original right now to sell at auction.
It was just authenticated, so good news. Yeah.
Other than the big things, I mean, the obvious Star Wars things, is there anything else that
I'm staring at? Like I said, I've been thinking about Tron. I'm staring at that Khan thing. I'm looking at like some of those, some of the Grand Budapest Hotel, a couple of odds and ends there, maybe. I'll go through it one more time. I will also tell you from the forgive me, the Yavin Metal collection, the prop guy who the collection is from, whose name escapes me at the moment. I used to know it, but if you go to the Yavin Metal for 1 second, Bart, what's his name? Anyone know his name? The lovely prop man this all stuff is coming from. Yavin Metal. There we go. It's coming up. Anyone? No one in the list even knows. Boy, I'm going to say this again. I know they don't like me saying this. I hate that I don't have a PDF of day 2 and day 3. The lack of a PDF drives me crazy. I like to be able to look at stuff, and looking at the stuff, like even today, preparing for the show, trying to find stuff and realizing I was missing stuff because just you're looking at a grid and whatnot makes me crazy. So the Jared Bork collection, Jerry Bork, go through the rest of his stuff, Star Wars fans. There are items at every price point. I really love a lot of the stuff he's got in here. There's some fun crew items. There's some art department stuff. I know we talked a little bit about the models of the ships that were used for planning the shooting in Empire. There's fun like crew invites to like George Lucas's 32nd birthday party from his collection. The man this guy, Jerry Burke, just held on to like every piece of paper, which is really, really wonderful. And I just think there's really great stuff. And so I'm going to go through that again with a fine tooth comb and just sort of maybe target a couple of like lower end items, which I think would be very fun to try and add to my collection so that I can then in 2 or 3 years complain about them and sell them in another Propstore auction. So, gotta feed the machine. So yeah, indeed, exactly. Yeah. But anyway, I do think there's a couple of odds and ends that are very cool. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for me, you'll laugh. I mean, I really am torn because I the Ghost Trap is great. I don't have anything from Ghostbusters. I love the Mr. Fusion. I mean, I heard that they had that like a year ago, and I started doing the like kind of long-term sort of planning. And I know it's Back to the Future 2. I count this as Back to the Future 1 because it's tech. Like
I understand that. I do understand that. I guess I can maybe bend that rule as well. And I'm okay
because it's not a hoverboard, it's not an inflatey jacket, whatever. And it is from the future, but it's the thing that Doc brings back in 1. It's the end of the movie. And look, I know it's matched to 2. It's not matched to 1. It's on the car. I just think, and it's to me, it's one of the best sight gags. It
is a great gag, and you're right. The connection to 1 counts for something. And look, this thing in a display case or in a standing on a really incredible like black pedestal just unto itself would really be just really incredible looking. And I think it's certainly recognizable. So I can't argue against it. I just like I said, I love it. I guess it is really incredible. Those are two healthy.
In another world, I think I would be after the Yavin Metal too, because I just think it's so first film Star Wars. And like, when do you have a chance to get a principal character piece from A New Hope, from the first Star Wars movie?
No, the worn by Luke in the movie, photo match to a behind the scenes photo from a Han. I mean, one of 2. It's pretty wonderfully insane. So really, really incredible. I
need somebody to buy my indie clapper for $250,000.
I will bid if it helps. I'll bid $190 as long as somebody promises me they'll bid too.
I'll bid you. Okay, very good.
I'll help drive it up. Yeah, but to 190.
Can we, since we did so much plugging in MOSEP, can we go back, Bart, and plug a little indie clapper as we go out here? just to show the the screen, the photo match, because I just think it's very cool. I don't know if everybody's seen it, but there it should be in the listing as we wait for.
See, if we had a PDF, this would all be easier. By the way,
That's right.
I don't understand the no PDF.
So yeah, if you keep scrolling. Yeah, it's a camera. Which
there you go.
Look at that. Look at that photo. The man himself in front of the tank.
That is son. Must be a son.
I think that's the assumption. They haven't said specifically, but that's my guess. Is yes. That's him. So that would be in Spain.
I mean, the incredible thing is obviously that's the clapper. Is the tank we think now is right at Disney World, right? Is that what came out of our discussion?
I think that's what I'm saying. That the truck from Raiders is at land. This tank is at World.
Tank is at World. So we know where those are. Now you know where the clapper is. It'd be incredible to find that kid and add that to your collection. That would be really something.
You should just go to Disney World and find a look-alike kid. Don't take time to ask the parents. Just bring your clapper, scoop the kid up off the ground, and get the shot done. That's really what you should do.
That is just pretty incredible. That tank is really wonderful. The other thing, by the way, is I think my hat matches to him hanging off the tank sequence, I believe. So that was another reason, having seen this picture, that I sort of came around.
I'm sorry, I didn't even.
I honestly, it didn't occur to me until it was literally in the auction. It was not. It wasn't a. How does one say this? I didn't think of it and been like, oh, I forgot to tell you. You know what I mean? It didn't occur to me till I saw it and went, oh, I should have been thinking.
Well, I mean, it can be yours for $190,000. So
yeah. Fair enough. I keep trying to click on the arrow to look at the other images, but I don't have the control of the screen. But anyway, any other questions before we get the hell out of here from the Peanut Gallery? Thank you guys all for showing up.
We say that
on this Sunday. Is this a good time to do this? Because I don't mean this in a bad way. Is there a better time that would make these things more, I don't know, attendable? I don't know. What do we get to, Bart? What are?
I mean, I guess we could try.
What was our max number of human beings today? What did we get? Over 50?
I saw 60 up there.
Oh, 60. Point. Okay, so that's all right.
I saw us in the 60s. I mean, I wonder if we could try doing like your Sunday evening, very early, my Monday morning, because I think we do have more of an American audience than anything. So we could try that just to mix things up the next time around, if there is a next time around.
Do we need to be giving away like free Dave Pisani like things, displays? Like you could win one if we were giving away things. Would that make people show up more? If there were win on these things? I don't know. Something to think about. But like just pure bribery. I feel like that's what Felix Liu, when he get on his podcast, he's always giving shit away, and I feel like he gets the crowds. All right. Well, if there's no other questions, we are going to get the heck out of here.
Thank you, everybody.
I will thank you, everyone. I will see people on Tuesday if they're in LA at the big was this live cast announced. We like to keep the live casts, Mr. Lockford. We like to keep them a secret a little bit. We like to, it's sort of a, if you know, you know. No, we did send out, if you're not on our subscription list, how do we get to that, Bart? How do we tell people to sign up for the newsletter? But also, we did mention on the social media.
Yeah, dreamsmade-a-podcast@gmail.com, and Bart will stick you on
Chris, how are you? But yeah, we do have a mailing list. There you go. Email us there, and we'll put you on the mailing list so you'll know. And we did put it out on the social media, wherever that. Frank Berman, what would my remake of Back to the Future 2 and 3 be like? I think it's just people still talking about the fact that the Cybertruck is a piece of shit. But it's now like, even in the Old West, they're like, I realize the notion of a mechanical car should baffle us, run certainly by the sun. This is insane. My 1800s brain does not work on it, but I don't understand it. And yet, it's so ugly, I think I'll stick with my horse. It really seems like a piece of shit. Because let me tell you, my horse doesn't explode, and my horse doesn't run into other horses and kill the people that are driving it. So yeah, and also, I am not trying to ruin the government. So there you go. Check out everything.
Mine very simply would just have more fake hoverboards in it.
I can't beat that. So there you go. We'll talk to you soon, guys. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye, everybody.